His Darius, you're annoying. He said. All right, are we ready? All right, it's starting in 3, 2, 1. Oh, we back, aha, oh yeah, we back, and we back, like that. Y'all like that? I don't know if I liked it either, but it's okay, we're gonna keep going with it. Welcome back, okay, we are here, season 2. I'm excited, y'all, because I am able to show you all a little bit more about me. Now, the first season of my vlog series was a little bit more like this kind of video diary entry kind of thing where I'm telling you guys about me. I'm talking about me. It was very much so about being true to self, and I was being raw and vulnerable about myself. Now, this season, I'm going to dive a little bit further into me, but also further into other topics that I think are very demonstrative of other men. And the characteristics that help create masculinity. And that's what this season is all about, MASKulinity. I'm spelling it with mask, as in the word mask, in front of masculinity, because we're removing the mask off of masculinity. And I want to put men back in control of their mental health. It's a big part of it. I think that masculinity is constructed around your mental health. If your mental health is not as healthy as it should be or could be, then, you know, your masculinity kind of feels threatened in a bit. And I don't want us to feel like that. So this season, this is what it's all about. And my very first episode is definitely gonna start us off on the right track. This first episode is all about fatherhood. I think that's the perfect place to start to figure out how do we even get these ideas of what a man is, what a man should be, and how that helps us figure out what masculinity is. That's my aim, that's my goal, is to help us understand things. We're debunking some myths and stereotypes, but then we're also understanding a few myths and stereotypes along the way as well and seeing where they come from possibly. So for this first episode, I sat down with 3 really strong men, in my opinion, that have helped me understand so much about fatherhood outside of my own father. And it's going to be amazing. It's a great interview. I hope that you guys really enjoy it. And I don't want to keep it away from you too much longer. So let's get started. Hashtag, let's talk about it. I want to get into our very first episode, and I think it's a very fitting place to start, which is fatherhood. How do we figure out who we are as men without the men that made us who we are as men, if that makes sense? I don't know. Maybe you can make some sense of that for me in the comment section. But let's get into it. I have 3 people here that are very important to me, seeing them be fathers, seeing them becoming fathers, and it's been really cool to kind of see them transition into this kind of space that they are from my adolescence into my adulthood now. So I want to introduce to you guys my 3 guests for today to kick it off. I have my next door neighbor.
How you guys doing?
Who is a father of 4. 3 of them being girls. Don't know how he does it, but I mean, he's a superhuman, so we're gonna figure out how he became a superhuman over these years with his 3 daughters and 1 little boy. And then I also have my brother. For those of you that are friends of the show that know me, know how I feel about my brother. He is Superman, and now he is a Superman with a little Superman boy being developed in his wife, so I'm excited about that. So he's a father-to-be.
How y'all doing?
And then I have a new father, my fraternity brother, my Neo, my second-hand, right-hand man to the show. Like, he's been helping me out so much behind the scenes, my cameraman. And Dimitri Bassey, he is the father of one of the most precious little things to hit the internet, Miss Nova. She is beautiful, literally like a porcelain doll. Like, she is so precious. All right, so let's get into it. First off, thank you so much for being here. It's really, really, really a big deal for me. I'm starting like a new chapter of life, essentially, and I'm sharing it with you guys, and you're sharing it with me.
Just like that.
Yeah, so I'm really excited about it. So, Mr. Jeremy, just tell people a little bit about who you are, I guess, especially in relation to me, and aside from just being my neighbor, but, you know, kind of how we came to be here.
Cool. So, my name is Jeremy Fryson. I've been living next to Darius and Corey for about 10 years now, and I've been able to see you guys grow up, make moves, go out into the world, and try to make your mark. And I'm very proud because I'm seeing him become a man and be married and about to be a father. And I just found out you got a YouTube channel, so I'm like, wow, you know what I mean? Things are happening. Technology is great. You guys are making the best use of it, and it's just a good thing to be a part of.
Appreciate it. D-Bo, D-Sams, D-Boy, Diddy Kong.
Hi everybody, my name is, I guess, go technical.
Yeah, go technical. Let us know who you are.
Darius Sams.
Whoa, hold on. Wait. Hold on.
Yeah, he put the doctor. Go technical.
Okay.
Go technical.
I told you he's Superman. Here we go, doctor.
Yeah, physical therapy. I'm a physical therapist. By trade, I'm my brother's brother, only brother. 28 years old.
You know.
Yeah, no.
Known me my whole life.
Yeah,
you know, it's no big deal.
This is my first baby, but I'm expecting my first baby, coming from me, August 15th. Learning how to be a man.
There we go.
New responsibilities.
Absolutely. I appreciate it. All right, Meech.
What's good, everybody? Dimitri Bassey. I am a father first. I'm also a photographer, videographer. I also have a podcast with my Line Brothers. I met Corey at Georgia State University. We were in the same fraternity, Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated.
Absolutely.
You know, we stayed in the Sigma house for a year, so, you know, staying with somebody, you're going to eventually start to have conversations, get to know them as a person and whatnot. I mean, ever since then, you know, we've just been cool, man, just kicking and chopping it up, always staying in touch, so. And here we are now, you know, first episode in. So,
Yeah, boy.
Right. And just throwing another one to him. Hey, he did the photography at my wedding, so hey, y'all throw some work his way, hey?
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, so the first question I want to get into is just, what was your first example of what a man is or what a man should be? Who showed you that? Anybody can.
For me, I'm gonna give 2 examples. So my first example was his name was Ronnie Joseph Sr. And I came from a place in LA where I didn't really have any boundaries or time limits, and when I say that, like, I didn't have a curfew, right? So my best friend, one of my close friends, another college friend of mine, he invited me on a road trip and to his house in Baton Rouge. And if you know anything about Baton Rouge, you know the food is good and the women are beautiful, right? And he was selling me on, you know, we can go to the club, and this is when, you know, Master P was out and the music scene was good, and Back That Thing Up was out. So I'm about to go down there and give me a little red bone, right? So I walk into the house and I'm thinking about to go to a club. I'm like, hey sir, how you doing? My name is Jeremy, this, that, and the third. He was like, man, good to meet you. I'm happy that you're here, and you know, it's great, and just be at my house at 9 o'clock. And I'm like, 9 o'clock? You mean in the morning? It's like, nah, at night. And I'm like, I'm about to go to a club. He's like, you can do whatever you want. Just be at the house at 9 o'clock. So I had to hurry and be like, okay, sir, cool. But I had to pull my boy to the side, like, hey man, what you got me into? Right. You know what I mean? And what that showed me was boundaries and respect. He presented a boundary because it was more, I'm gonna do this for your safety, but respect me in my house. And that was like one of the first things that I was exposed to, as well as him being married for over 15 years at the time. So that was like my first immediate example of being a father and a family man.
Yeah. I guess my first example would actually be my band director. And it's weird that it's him just because, like, my father's in my life, but he hasn't physically been there. Like he stays in Nigeria, so it's like we never had that like true connection. I've only seen the man like 3 times in my life.
Oh, wow.
But I say my band director because he's always set this principle that I still follow today, which is leadership leads by example. So it's just like, you know, you can't expect something out of somebody if you're not even yourself setting that example. So whether that's in work or being a father or just being a human being on this world, like it's just like you have to set a standard for yourself in order to see the people around you to kind of do that same as well. Because a lot of people always say like, you know, associate your people that or with people that you see yourself that you'll be successful with, or just successful people period. So it's just like if you set that example of successfulness, that's the type of people you eventually surround yourself with.
Right.
So
Wow. So if we're thinking about like Darius, so for us, we grew up together, of course, but like growing up, seeing the different mindsets of each other. So what were some of the points where you thought that you had this kind of manhood idea figured out, like at a young age? Like, you know, you think that you have everything kind of figured out. It's like you observe and you kind of report back to each other. You know, we would like talk to each other like before going to bed and be like, you know, I saw Daddy do this today, blah, blah, blah. You know, Daddy's cool because he knows how to fix cars or whatever, you know, that we're saying. And, you know, what was the turning point for you where you're like, I thought I had it figured out because of seeing Daddy or Uncle or whomever, and I really don't, because, you know, we're growing up in different times and there's always something else that defines, you know, a masculinity trope. Like you said, early 2000s, you weren't cool if you weren't wearing like, you know, Inichi or Echo Unlimited or whatever, you know, whereas now it's like,
What's that?
you know, what's that? You know, like, yeah, it's like, what is an Echo? What's an Inichi now? So what was that kind of point for you where you thought that you had this figured out in your teen, like, you know, as a youngin', but then you realize like there's so much more?
I don't know. That's hard. That's hard because even now I can't say I have it figured out.
Right.
I guess mindset wise, from boy to a man or whatever, or making steps into manhood, was education for me. So like 8th grade, when I had an injury with my knee that stopped me from playing basketball for a while, I was like, whoa, I actually gotta look at education as being like my outlet. Like, what else do I want to do besides playing basketball? So that frame of mind having to change into something that provided more stability for first myself, so that then if I wanted to have a family at that time, not knowing, like at least if I knew if I could stabilize, like be stable myself, then I would be able to have stability around me.
Okay.
So went from wanting to be a basketball player to still wanting to be a basketball player, but just in case if that didn't work out, all right, I need to pursue something in medicine. So that's when I went ahead and started applying to the medical magnet program in our area, and got accepted. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna be good about this thought process with school. If I can do well in school, I can still play. But just having to prioritize things, I think that's when things kind of changed or clicked to make more steps towards manhood. But I still wouldn't say I have it figured out. Like, I have a better grip on it, but it's still times where it feels loose and whatnot.
Having 4 kids, where was the moment for you where you're like, this is it, this is cool, like,
Okay.
I'm content with being a father as opposed to I'm scared of being a father? Because I feel like with the first one, everyone's kind of like nervous. Then the second, you're like, you know, we kind of got it figured out. And then for you went on to the third, and it was like, I guess in my head, and when I was watching it, I was like, all right, we got the third, let's do this thing, you know? And then you was like, all right, let's do one more. And I was like, he got it, like, he got it figured out. So like, what was that like for you? What was that process like?
Falling in love with being a dad. So the moment I remember like yesterday, so the moment that I fell in love with being a father was when my wife was on the delivery table delivering my firstborn daughter, right? And there was a moment during her operation when she was delivering the baby where it was nobody in the world but me and her, because she needed me I needed her, but then the baby needed both of us, right? So there was a place where she looked at me, I looked at her, and it was like, I got you. You know what I mean? And then when Kennedy was born, do you want to cut the cord? And it was like, yeah, I want to cut the cord. I'm nervous, but I know, real men cut cords. That's the thing. That's a symbolic thing. Like, it's your job to cut the cord. You know what I mean? So after I cut the cord, they cleaned Kennedy up, and then they put her on the heating table, and my best friend was actually videotaping, and Kennedy reached out for me, and she grabbed my pinky. At that point, it was over. Like, oh, I got you. Like, don't trip. It was kind of symbolic. It was a symbolic gesture to whereas my daughter needed her father, and my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, needed me. So at that point, all the childish games and everything I was doing in the streets at the time, I had to dead it, because it was like, yo, either you're gonna step up and be a man, or you're gonna continue to be you're gonna continue to be a little boy. Because now I have a daughter and I got a wife that's dependent upon me. You know what I'm saying? So by any means necessary, we're gonna have to get it. We're gonna have to work it out. And 4 kids later, we still working it out. I'm still, teaching lessons and pulling from older men around me and even younger men around me. You know what I'm saying? From your father to my dad now, you know what I'm saying? To Mr. Tommy, you know what I mean? The men in the neighborhood that see that all I'm trying to do is do what they did, but just a little bit better, or my own flavor and style. And that's what it is, man.
So that makes me think about if you're teaching your son, or just showing Nova, what a man is. But what is one of the most important lessons that you really want to impart upon your child about being a man?
Can I jump on this real quick, fellas, real quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so in one word, I'm just gonna say one word or a phrase, and it's to be present, right? So as a father, I travel a lot, but at the same time, when I'm traveling all over the country, I still want my kids to know that I'm present in their lives.
Let you go. I'm still thinking.
I think what I want to instill for Nova and future kids is just the ability to listen. Because, I want her to know that I will be able to listen to anything she needs. Like, she should be able to come to me with anything. Like, that's the type of relationship we should have. But that's also what she should put out to other people as well. Because, a lot of things in the world right now, even in this country, is just because we can't sit down and listen to each other.
Right. Communication.
And communication is very important. And I think she really needs to understand that. And I think if she has that understanding with somebody who's raised her all of her life, she should be able to do that to other people.
Okay.
I guess for me, I'm because I'm a upcoming dad. I'm having to assess myself and really look at it. The biggest things that I want them to do is be respectful. Because true men, they're respectful. They give it, not just demand it, but they give it first, and that's the way they're able to better demand it. And then from there, like also being humble, being not having to go out and be this big braggadocious type dude, but actually being able to be strong in humility, and from there attain whatever it is that God has for him. And from there, always remember where his blessings come from.
Hallelujah, hallelujah. No, that was honestly, I think those are all really good things. And I think that really just kind of brings me full circle to, on Instagram and on social media, I oftentimes ask you guys different questions for things that I am figuring out in my own head. And I asked Instagram, in 3 words, tell me, what do you think a man should be? From each of you, I would like for you to close us out with 3 words that you think a man should be. And then give the people actually a takeaway that you want them to have from this episode.
Wisdom is just being knowledgeable, on many different facets. Honest. You never want to present a lie or lie to your wife or kids unless you really, really have to. That's kind of another conversation. And then wisdom, strong. Every day you go out into this world, you have the world on your back. And I always envision myself when I cross over that threshold coming into my house, I place all those worldly things at the doorstep,
Okay.
so I can become a father and a husband.
Beautiful.
That's what it is.
Meech.
Respectable, loyalty, caring.
Any of those mean anything?
Oh yeah, I mean, you always want to be respected as a person. You know, that's usually showing you have good character and always respect other people, even if they might not show you the type of energy you would want back. You know, it's just like sometimes you gotta take the high road. Loyalty is just, I mean, that's important in any friendship, relationship. Like, I mean, if people are entrusting you with their life, their secrets, like, you just gotta be loyal. So you gotta be down with them no matter what, man. And just caring, like, it's just, you know, you gotta care. Like, whether that's just listening to somebody, just asking if you okay, randomly hitting up a friend you might not hit a while ago. You know, just make sure, you know, you're looking after people.
Right.
For me, respectful. You have to gain respect of everybody by giving it. Responsible, because every day you have situations that you have to work with, deal with, whatever. Like coming home to your wife, kids. Even if you're not married, like you still have things that you have to handle on your own. And for my third one, it is humble. You have to be humble. Like you can attain so many things, but easily you can fall, and that affects everybody around you. So you really have to play that humble card, I think.
Yeah. Am I the only person that every time I hear the word humble, I think of like Kendrick Lamar, and I'm like, doom, 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 doom. Okay, I don't know. That's cool. So, that was pretty good, right? I think so myself. Now, this is my first time doing long format interviews, but it's really fun doing it and getting able to sit down and talk to these men about ideas and all these different kinds of just societal norms and constructs, and it's just so good, okay? And I hope that you guys enjoyed that first interview. Now, this is normally the portion of the show where we would go into #female feedback, or as I like to call it, FaceTime feedback, because I just basically want you to see what some of my other people are talking about. But because this entire season is all about the man, I do want to give the ladies a chance to chime in on it as well. So I'm calling it female feedback for this go around. But for the next seasons, it would definitely be FaceTime feedback. So, but it's not going to happen this time. This time, for this first episode, I just want to give you guys as much of the interview as possible, because there was a lot of meat in there. There was a lot of just everything in between the buns, which are me coming back in front of the wall talking to you. But there was a lot going on in there that I wanted you guys to be able to just listen to and unpack. And after that is when we usually going to have the FaceTime feedback. But now, I'm sure you guys are wondering, what was that little snippet of like flyness at the very beginning? So those two ladies are but a few of the dancers that will be helping me out to also push home the narrative of what it is to be a man within these episodes. Each episode will have a dance video with it, and the dance video will help us to see it through another lens. Sometimes you get it when you listen to the talks, but then the dance videos are going to help us out a little bit more as well. Art is reflective of real life, and real life sometimes reflects art. You never know. And for me, one of my favorite art forms and the art forms that I appreciate is visual and performing arts, and especially dance and step. If you know me, if you're a friend of the show, like I said earlier, then you know how I feel about certain things for sure. And dancing and stepping are two of my absolute favorite art forms that are out there in the world. And so this one is for the ladies to understand that, you know, you can be a boss too. But men, we're learning how to be bosses ourselves as well. Enjoy.
Frosty, and I'm so bossy, and I so saucy, and my clothes cost me light for the party. Always get it started, and I so bossy, and I so I'm independent, got my own, and I can run the cash up if I want to. Run it up, body cold, frosty, and I'm I'm so bossy, and I'm so saucy. And my clothes cost me. Hood at I'm bougie.
Gucci on my booty. Popular